Today we'll begin with a new chapter, that is chapter 34, and it is about Rudradhyana Mahima. This is in continuation with yesterday's chapter. This chapter refers to the Rudradhyana, that is Rudradhyana and Rudrabhisheka Mahima, and the story of the prince who died at a very young age but got back his life again. Very good morning. Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining Shri Guru Charitra Satsang. Wishing you all a very happy Tuesday. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Guru Charitra Satsang. Siddha Muni continued narrating to Namdarak on Rudrabhisheka Mahima as told by Gurunath to the woman in the guise of Tapasvi. King Bhadrasena, after listening to the account of the past life of his son and that of his minister, prayed to Parashara Rishi to throw some light on how his son's future was going to be. The Rishi was hesitant to say anything in reply to the king. As the king was persistent, the Rishi said that the prince had only 8 days more to live. The king fainted in grief on hearing this. When he recovered, he fell at the Rishi's feet and prayed that he should show him the way so that his son's life could be saved. Moved by pity, the Rishi said that if he could earn the grace of Lord Shiva, the Mrityunjaya, there was the possibility of his son's life being saved. Lord Shiva is all-powerful. It was Lord Shiva who caused the Vedas to be manifest and gifted them to Brahmadeva to serve as a guidance to the latter in his function as the creator of the world, of matter and the universe of beings. Along with the Vedas, he also gifted him the Brahmopanishad, in which there was a chapter titled Rudrayaya, describing the Rudrabhisheka Mahima. Brahmadeva narrated the Rudrabhisheka Mahima to the Rishis once as described in the Rudrayaya of the Brahmopanishad. His narration has been given as under. The study of the Rudrayana and performance of Rudrabhisheka would expiate one of all his sins and would endow also liberation on him from the cycle of birth and death. He said that Rudrabhisheka was the panacea for all the ills of the mundane life. All the Rishis thereafter, as advised by Brahmadeva, took to Rudrabhisheka. From the Rishis, it spread among all people, and everywhere the echo of Rudra Japa and Rudrayaya could be heard. Whenever and wherever Yamadharma Raja's Dhutas visited, they were repelled by seething heat generated by the spiritual vibrations emanating from Rudra Japa. The Yamadutas narrated their plight to Yamaraja. The latter rushed to Brahmadeva and told him about the matter. Brahmadeva told Yamaraja that he should instruct his Dutas that they should never approach anywhere near where Rudrayana and Purusha Sukta chanting would be going on, and they could move freely only where such chanting is not there. We already learnt about this in previous earlier chapters. This was when the Rishi was explaining this to Savitri, who lost her husband, and in the earlier chapter as well. The importance and the significance of the Rudrabhisheka or worship of Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is known to be the god of destruction, and when you worship him, he comes to redeem you, he saves you. And here it's also mentioned about Rudrayana and Purusha Sukta. And Purusha Sukta is recited and chanted in the praise of Lord Vishnu. Parashara Rishi advised the king that he should invite 100 Brahmins and arrange for performance of 10,000 Rudrabhishekas and bathe the prince with Rudrabhisheka Tirtha, which alone could save the life of the prince. The king arranged for the performance of Rudrabhishekas as advised by the sage. On the 8th day, the prince fell down dead. But Parashara Rishi immediately sprinkled the Rudrabhisheka Tirtha on the body of the prince and bathed the body with the Tirtha. Lo, the prince came back to life instantly. Just at the time, sage Narada came and told the king how blessed the king and the prince were. Please remember, this is only possible if you are the ardent devotee of the divine Lord Almighty and you're a very pious being. And you have to understand one very important lesson here. How is it possible that somebody who's dead can come back to life? See, the body is dying. The spirit is an eternal being. What is being brought back is some adjustments done to the karma, and the power of doing these adjustments is only rests with the gurus and the divine Lord Almighty himself, only on a rare condition or some special occasion for a purpose. There is always a divine will, there is a divine purpose. There is nothing done out of turns, and if something has to be done like this, there is a specific reason, and that reason is not understood by us human beings. So never ever think that anybody's life can be brought back once again. No, it doesn't work like that. And you need to also understand that nobody has the power or the right to interfere with an individual's prarabdha karma. See, everybody comes with its prarabdha karma and nobody can, interfere in that. What does the guru do? The guru destroys your sanchit and the agami, but the prarabdha karma, he only cushions you. He cushions that prarabdha karma so that you don't suffer a lot. See, what happens is we do not understand what are the karmas that we are born with. We believe it is our birthright to get a better life, to get a better job, to go into a rich school, to have all the money in the world. Those are all our desires and creations of our mind, and believe it is my right that I should get all this. God has been unkind to me. This is how we human beings think. Why should, in the case of this king's son, the king is imagining that the son is going to rule the kingdom. He is going to be, anointed the future king, and he's going to carry forward that lineage. But unfortunately, when such a calamity befalls, nobody is willing to accept that prarabdha karma of that individual. We all live in our own lala land. This is the truth. My Krishna Guruji is so kind. He's so compassionate. Many a time he does too many things. He takes on people's karmas. He suffers for them. He cushions them. But you know what? He's never going to say what he is doing, what are the adjustments he's doing so that the individual doesn't suffer. But we are ungrateful. We think, my Guruji's put me into so much suffering. My father has a heart attack. My mother has a diabetes. My mother has, somebody else has cancer. Everybody has different, ailments. And what do we believe? Oh, it is because my Guruji, my God is putting me through such a dire condition. He's making me suffer. But your father's heart attack or your mother's cancer or diabetes is only because of their karma. What makes you think the Guru is putting or the God is making them suffer? On the contrary, do you even know that the Guru, because you are, initiated by the Guru, he has to take every karma of you and the people associated with you. He has actually granted your mother, father, that young child, sister, brother, anybody, I don't know. All the relations, husband, wife, you name it. He has taken on those karmas and he's suffering for that. And if there is something that has to befall, he's cushioned completely. Yeah, cancer is going to be there or heart attack is going to come, but the person is not going to die, or the person is not going to suffer through that. On the contrary, you know what he does? He suffers himself. His body suffers for all that. And he is going to die very soon. This is the truth about life. And we are so ungrateful, unfortunately. We don't see the kind of sacrifice this Guru Ma does for his children. Can your mother do? Can your father do? Please ask this. They're all very selfish people. They only care about I, me, myself, my body, my sickness. But the Guru Ma suffers for everybody's sickness. I know I have experienced this with my Krishna Guruji. You know, this body's father was very sick at one point in time. I have seen this with my eyes, and I will stand for it, and nobody can deny this truth. You know, when this body's father had certain heart issues, he was suffering. I saw my Guruji at that moment in time literally sweating, and he had taken the pain on himself. This is who my Krishna Guruji is, the greatest mother on planet Earth, on this entire universe. No mother, father, real mother, this body's parents cannot do what the Guru Ma does. This is the Param Satya. And most important, he suffers for everybody. I have seen him suffering for every other person. And that suffering, I've seen this with these eyes. But he will never say what he is doing. And at one point in time, I don't even know who this child was. And, you know, this child was undergoing tremendous heart issues. And my Guruji was, you know, I could see he was sitting for breakfast. And I saw his face completely in sweat. I was asking him, what is happening? What is happening? He didn't say or utter a single word. It's never, you know, usual of my Guruji not to speak or teach us during our breakfast. He usually have a conversation, in the sense he's going to teach us what is happening, or he'll ask some things, or, you know, ask us some questions. And that day he was just eating very quietly, and he was unable to eat that breakfast. I saw him sweating. I asked him, what is happening? Can you tell me? He didn't say a word. And much later he said, there is a child who is suffering from some heart ailment, and I have to save. And I was just taking on that pain. But I asked, who is this child? He will never give me details. He will never have to disclose anything. That is who this Guru is. This right hand will not know what the left hand does. He quietly takes care of everybody's suffering. And what are we doing? We're ungrateful to the same being. We make promises to this body's parents. Oh, I'll look after you. I will get married for you. I will do all of this. But what is the promise that you will do for the Guru who saved this body's parents and every other parents and children in this world? What is that we are going to offer to him? Ungratefulness? That is exactly what we do. This is what we do for our Guru. The reason why I am saying this is the power of the divinity is never understood by us. We think we have to get all the money in the world. You know what? One day, this thing my Guruji taught to me very nicely. Sometimes we fight with the divine Lord Almighty, saying, why is my life? I should also earn money. I should also have a good life. I should have a rich life. But who is responsible for the life you are living? We ourselves, because of our prarabdha karma, because of our past life sins. And what do? We think we deserve more. Who is giving you that idea? One day, please go actually see what your life would have been if not for the great, you know, the Guru's blessing and grace. Just go back and see what you have lived a life. And someday, my Krishna Guruji was telling, you need to get an understanding about what this body's life would have been. If not for you being in spiritual, if not for the grace of the divine Lord Almighty and my Guruji himself. Today, if at all, I can never repay to my Guruji is only that great indebtedness of gratefulness and gratitude in my heart that he's done so much for us. And today, of course, I want to do everything my Guruji wants me to do in this world, because that is the only repayment I can give him. Not any money, not by anything, buying him things. You can never repay the divine Lord Almighty. Never. Not in this life, not to eternity. People think buying a kilo of peda and offering some, handouts and some pennies to him, they think they're doing a big deal. Please don't ever have that attitude and that idea. Nobody can repay the divine Lord Almighty and the great Master. His grace, His benevolence, His compassion is immeasurable. You can't even imagine. Your gutter life, He has made it very beautiful. And this morning he was just giving an example to this body's own life. This body's grandmother suffered for 5.5 years in cancer, in bedridden. It was a very painful, life that this body's grandmother had undergone, and for which this body's mother and yes, to a certain extent myself. We have served her. It is not easy to take care of her throughout her 5 years in the bed, clean her, do everything. You know how much of that suffering it is? Nobody should get such a painful life. Even the worst, even if you have an enemy, you can never wish something like that. It's such a bad life. But why they have to go through? Because that is part of their karma. This body also has its karma, but when you have the grace of the Guru, he redeems your karma, he absolves you of all your sins. That is what the Guru does. That is the nature of this Guru. Why we have to obey to the Guru's command, why we have to just listen to him and do everything he ordains us to do. He knows, yes, what is going to happen. And you know, this morning in Bhagavad Gita, my Krishna Guruji explained a very profound truth. He knows what to give everybody. He knows what is right, and at the right timing, that which they require to do certain things in their world, that will be fulfilled. He facilitates everything, not the way you want it, not how much you want it. Yes, you can demand how much ever you want, but you want to go and get that 1 lakh, 1 million, whatever that you are demanding, go and experience that material worldly life. Then you'll understand what you have been saved of. When you meet the Guru, he purifies your entire life. He makes it foolproof, that no calamity shall befall you. You are under the firewall of the Guru's grace. Nothing shall touch you but that which is required for you to lead your life. Whether it is food, clothing, the basic necessities, everything will come on its own at the right time. The way it is going to come, you don't even know. So you just need to have this ultimate faith in the words of the Guru and just serve his purpose and serve him. But we think, oh, we are doing a big favor to the Guru by trying to take care of him or trying to do something for him. This is our misconception. Never ever say that I am doing something for my Guru. I'm sorry. On the contrary, it is a blessing. Today I feel my life is blessed. It's such a great blessing to serve this master. Some merit I must have earned. I don't know. This body is chosen as an instrument. Today everything that I have to do is exactly what my Guru ordains and he teaches. And this morning he was teaching what is Bhagavad Gita, the way of life. It's the highest of the scriptures that anybody can follow, but not the ones which is mentioned not the ones which is explained and misconstrued by the people in this world, by these priests, Brahmins, whosoever. Everybody has a misinterpretation and wrong interpretations about the Vedas, because you have never learned under a real master. That is what you need to understand. And he was actually giving a very beautiful lesson, saying that why are you using the middleman, the priest or somebody else to reach him? Go directly. Why are you going through the deities, the small gods? Come to him directly, because at the end of the day, no matter who you offer to, it reaches him alone. But he's not going to directly grant you anything. But if you go to him directly, he will do what is required for you. That is who Lord Shri Krishna is. But you know what? We are given into our own petty mind's way of thinking, understanding and doing. And if you're taught saying, no, what you're doing is wrong, you want to actually go and show how much more wrong you can do. That is what your mind tells you. Oh, who is she to tell me that I'm doing wrong or something like that? But please understand, the grace comes, and never ever destroy this grace by the self-conceit of your mind and your own imaginations or your beliefs. And most important, your desires will take you to cleaners, will take you to gutters, and it will ruin your life. It will never let you to be in peace. Remember this truth and never destroy that grace that you have of being with the real master. When you have the Guru in your life, value him, revere him, because it's not going to be for eternity, because he's as a form, he's only going to have a limited time in your life. And don't destroy that moment. Don't destroy that life you have with him. Live every moment to the fullest. Learn from him, because he's the master of all this knowledge. He's the master of this universe. It is very rare to get such a blessing to be with the master. And what are we looking into? Oh, my life, I have too much problems in my life. I am facing. What problems are you facing? You don't even know what you have. If the Guru is not there, he has taken all your karmas off. The problems that you think you're facing is only 10%, because the Guru has taken everything on him and he's suffering for all your garbage. Remember this and never forget this. That goes for everybody, whether it is me or any of the other disciples and devotees, those who he has initiated. And please remember, he is suffering for your karmas, and don't dare to go and create further karmas. and then come and catch hold of his feet and put all your gutter sins unto his feet. I will cut your hands if you do that ever. But this is not a done thing in life. We need to always revere the great God. Every single time I've seen this, whether it is in any scripture or stories, we will do all the sins that we have asked not to do and come and put it on the lotus feet of the Guru. And then what? Say, God, you suffer for my sins. Is that what we are taught? No, on the contrary, the teaching here is how to overcome the karmas, how not to commit the karmas. And what is that the Guru teaches? He teaches us a very beautiful lesson. And what is that? Be your good self. Go on the path of dharma. Go on the path of righteousness. Just be devoted. Don't get carried away with lust and greed. This is what he's teaching. And what are we doing? We exactly do what he does. He asks us from not doing. He teaches us, don't do something and exactly what you will go end up doing. This is human nature, and this is the nature of the Guru. The Guru Charitra teaches the nature of this divine master. Don't commit more karmas and put him into trouble because he's suffering. His body can only handle so much. Beyond a point, he cannot take it, and then he has to leave that body and go away. Why? Why should he go away? We all have to make him live longer with our love, with our devotion. We have to give him an extension of that life and not, kill him faster. That is what these human beings are. You go read any stories from even the Buddhism. It teaches about the human and in human nature, which is completely given into its desires, greed, lust, want, and it goes and asks and asks and asks from the God, whoever anybody offers to them. And then what happens? They will go to such extreme that they will kill that individual, that being, whoever that is, only to satisfy and satiate their own lusty desires, the greedy desires. That is not what we are here for. The reason we have been given this knowledge is to overcome this human nature and become divine being. Emulate the divine nature which is vested within us. Why are we not doing that? Spirituality is nothing to do about doing rituals, which is what my Krishna Guruji taught today in Bhagavad Gita. It is not about going and performing certain rituals. They are all mentioned for a purpose. This Rudradhyana Mahima is only mentioned to, redeem certain sins, but only to those devoted beings this gets applied. Not anybody will do and they will attain that. Yeah, they will attain certain fruits for sure. Every worship, every prayer, every ritual that you perform, you definitely attain some fruit at the end. But please remember, you're going to be slave to the deities and the gods. That is exactly what my Guruji explains. And so don't fall for any of this. Don't think that you have to overcome something. Don't ask things out of turn. That which comes from the divine Lord is sinless. It comes, with no karma attached to that. So when he blesses you with anything, even it could be a very simple as buying you a garment, that is sinless, that is pure. It is purity itself when the Guru bestows upon you. So don't ask anything out of turn. Please remember, offer that service unto his lotus feet. Serve him and be devoted, absolute faith, complete surrender, unconditional pure love and exclusive devotion is what you need to have to this great master. It is very rare to have this Guru in your life, and when you have, revere him. That is the highest good that you have ever done, and because of which you have the blessing and the grace of the Guru in your life. So, Parashara Rishi advised the king that he should invite, on the 8th day, the prince fell down dead. But Parashara Rishi immediately sprinkled the Rudrabhisheka Tirtha on the body of the prince and bathed the body with the Tirtha. Lo, the prince came back to life instantly. Just at this time, sage Narada came and told the king how blessed the king and the prince were. Narada told them that Yamadutas were there to take away the prince to the Yamaloka. But as soon as the body of the prince was bathed with the Rudrabhisheka Tirtha, the Shivadutas appeared there, snatched away the princess Jiva from the hands of the Yamadutas and restored the life of the prince. Yamadutas ran back to Yama and reported the happening. Yama approached Lord Brahma, and the latter told him that though the prince was to die at his 12th year, the Rudrabhisheka Tirtha bath bestowed on him a fresh, long lease of life, and the prince was thus blessed to live for a full span of 100 years. Enlightened thus about the Rudrabhisheka Mahima, Yama returned to his abode and instructed his Dutas once again that they should be very watchful and cautious and should not go near anyone engaged in Rudrabhisheka or having Rudrabhisheka Tirtha sprinkled on the body or even wearing Rudrakshas. It's a brown color, like a seed, a dried seed. It has multiple faces. You can go and Google and see what Rudraksha means on the body, because all such people are dear to Lord Shiva and enjoy the protection of his divine grace. What is he saying? Those who are the true devotees and the disciples of the divine beings, he ever protects them no matter who they are. He doesn't do any discrimination between anybody. All he cares about is your love. And this morning, my Krishna Guruji was teaching from Bhagavad Gita how Lord Shri Krishna says, when you offer with a pure heart a leaf of tulsi or a flower or a fruit or even water, when being sinless means you have to be absolutely pure. I will personally come and accept that offering. This is what Lord Shri Krishna says. That's the level of your devotion and purity of your heart you need to have. But what do we even have the grace to see that divine being accepting what we offer? No, we don't have. It's very sad. I see my Krishna Guruji visiting few places. He's sitting there, the Lord Almighty is sitting there, and he's accepting the tea and whatever they're offering. But people do not recognize, they can't even see them. They think some ordinary human being is sitting and drinking a tea. This is how people think. It's very sad. But the Divine Master is sitting there and accepting. His grace is so strong. We should be ever grateful for that grace. But in that, Lord Shri Krishna says, nobody can recognize me. That is the truth. It's very sad that the God appears, but we don't recognize. We think some human being is sitting there and drinking some tea or water, or he's eating like a mortal human being, appearing like old, whatever, the body that he dons and goes there. He can don any body. He can take a body of a dog. He can appear in a form of a bird, in form of an ant. You name it. He can come in any form. But you have the grace to recognize him when he comes. That is what you have to seek. That is what you have to ask. And please remember, when you have a pure heart, when you offer him with that love and devotion, he personally comes and accepts this. This is exactly what he mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. And my Krishna Guruji very beautifully explained it. But we don't understand why we are always given into our mind self-conceit and deceit. That is what we are. We think we want to follow somebody. We want to go and believe into someone just because you're being told, this is the truth. This is the right way. And you want to go against. Okay, forget about you don't want to follow, even forget about that. Nobody's asking you have to follow certain things, but you have been given that grace. You need to have that goodness at heart to accept that grace and move on. Baba can appear in the form of a black dog and, eat that food. But can you recognize him in that form of a black dog? Or he's going to come, along with two boys and, say, I'm going to come for your ceremony and I'm going to partake of that meal. But can you recognize him? But you're still searching for Baba. He already came and went away. But where is your grace? Where is your eyes to see him? Because you're covered with ignorance. You think Baba has to come only in the particular form. That is what we don't understand. This Guru is a tattva. The divinity is an essence. It's a principle. It can manifest in anything. And that is one very important reason why we should see God in everybody and everything. We cannot have biases in life. I'm not saying you should, I'm not saying that you are going to be able to immediately do that, but yes, it is a very difficult thing. But that is what we have to overcome. How do you overcome? You have to overcome your mind and you have to practice. My Krishna Guruji will ask, can you see God in everybody? Can you see God in your enemy? Or sometimes in your bosses who you don't like? No, we can't. But that is where we fail. We have to be able to see God in everybody. Don't go by that physical appearance of an individual, but we have to see their subtle being. That is what we have to train. That is what it means to becoming enlightened. enlightened being, to be able to recognize that everybody is God alone. Everything in this universe is God alone. It's a creation of the divine Lord Almighty. And in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna has said this: Arjuna, you will first realize this entire universe within yourself and then everything in me. That is the truth. But it is very difficult to overcome this mind of ours. We cannot see God in everybody. And that is the stage we have to arrive. When you understand the whole world is a creation of the Lord, everything is unreal. The futility of life you will understand. And when you understand the futility of life, you will only want to see God in everybody. You will want to see God in everything. And that is the day you have truly redeemed yourself. And that is called God realization or self-realization. But today we are not there yet. Doesn't mean we cannot achieve. You have to strive hard. Practice. Sadhana is a very important aspect. And with your grace of your Guru, have this conviction that you will be able to attain to that level. So that is what you have to evolve into, becoming a spiritual being. So this ends the 34th chapter of the Guru Charitra, describing Rudradhyana Mahima. Glory to the all-merciful, the omnipresent and the ever-responsive Guru Nath. So we'll begin with a new chapter. And that is chapter 35, Somavara Vrata Mahima. This chapter narrates about the Somavara Vrata Mahima and the story of Princess Simantini. It also tells how the mantras forfeit their potency if they are made overt, and that for a woman the vratas are far more beneficial than the mantras, and that for a woman the vratas are far more beneficial than the mantras. There is a higher power than destiny. Mad bhakta, that is Okay, that's a Sanskrit word I'm trying to pronounce, so give me time. Napranasyati. My devotee never perishes. So mad bhakta means one who is completely lost in the divine. He's completely mad about the divine being. Who is my devotee never perishes. Is the eternal assurance of the Lord. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. Is the eternal assurance of the Lord. But the Lord also knows what is good and what is appropriate for his devotees. And he has his own way of dispensation of his grace. Oh my God, exactly what we discussed just now. Leaving it all to his will and mercy, let us surrender unto him. I'm going to reread this. This is very important. We need to understand what he's saying here. He's saying here, there is a higher power than destiny. What is he saying? God is saying there is a higher power than destiny. The only way how you can overcome your destiny and karmas is through bhakti to the divine Lord Almighty. He's saying mad bhakta, one who's completely a mad devotee of the divine Lord Almighty. His devotee never perishes. Such a devotee never perishes, he says. Who is the eternal assurance of the Lord. He's the eternal assurance. It is the Satya, Param truth, the supreme truth, the gospel truth. Eternal assurance of the Lord, that his devotee will never perish. But, there is a but. But, the Lord also knows what is good and what is appropriate for his devotees. What is good and appropriate for his devotees, only the Lord knows. And he has his own way of dispensation of grace. And how he gives you the grace, you can never fathom that. He has his own way how to give you that grace. What grace he has to give, how the grace will flow upon you is very, very unique. You cannot even fathom and you cannot even imagine. It is not how your mind wants it or how you think you should get it from the divine Lord Almighty. Never ever have this kind of expectation. That is called your mind's expectation. You have to only surrender. When you are a devotee of Lord, he takes care of you. Nothing shall befall. This is the eternal assurance which is being mentioned here. But the Lord also knows what is good for you. In Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Ji's Gospel of Truth, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Ji mentions that the Guru knows, like the mother knows what is good for her children. So she makes She may have 5 children. Each one will like different things. So she will make this in the fish. In fish, she'll make 5 different dishes, because one of her child will like fish pulao, somebody will like a fish fry, somebody will like, a fish curry. So the mother feeds different things for her children, that which is good for them. So she is only one who knows. Likewise, the divine Lord Mighty is this mother, is the Guru Ma, is Krishna Ma, who knows what is good for his children, and he will only grant you that which is good for you, but at the appropriate time. And the way of dispensation of the grace is very unique. You cannot even fathom how he does it and what he does it for you. You think nothing is happening in the world. I am doing so much for my Guru, but my Guru is not doing anything. This is how the human mind will think. This is what the human nature will make you think. And this is the test he's going to put you through many a time to see where you stand. To what level you're going to stoop down. He's going to test you endlessly to see how much faith you have in this divine Lord Almighty and the Guru who is taking care of you. Yet you will think, oh, he's giving everybody else, he's not giving me. This is what the mind will make you. Mind will show you. He says, see, your Guru is very mean. He's giving everybody else, but he's not giving me. I am doing so much for him. Nobody does it. This is how the mind talks. And what is the Guru giving? You think it's about, is it a transaction? You think you give so that the Guru has to give it back to you? Then there is a hidden agenda. The only reason why you're giving, because you want to get something. Please remember, the Master is all knowing. He knows what is going on in your mind very well. But he's not going to say anything. He'll see to how much you're going to stoop down, how much you're going to fall prey to your mind's self-conceit and deceit. And then what does he say? Leaving it to all to his will and mercy. Let us surrender unto him. You just need to live everything unto his will and surrender to him. Everything is happening for the good alone. This morning there was a very beautiful revelation that I had myself. I was unable to cope up with something, and it was bothering me and irritating me. But something hit me really hard. Oh my God! It was just a eureka moment. I woke up and said, oh my God, this is so beautiful. I have to enjoy doing this. There is a reason why my Guruji has put me through this. And I have to see God in all these people, because he's training me. He's physically, in practically giving me this lesson through this body so that I have to evolve. And that hit me really hard. And when that comes in, you find that bliss. It's not an happiness state. It's a state of acceptance. And then you will find the blissfulness. Then you're not going to feel how painful it is, how miserable it is. And you know what? When you accept life the way it comes, then you are living in that equanimity state of mind. Then there's no like and dislike. You just, that revelation was, oh my God, this is how he uses everybody to serve that purpose. So, which means I have to see God in that being. I have to be able to see everybody, as the divinity alone. Lord Shri Krishna is working through these people to teach me. On the contrary, he's just using them as a tool so that I can go go ahead in my world. That was that revelation. It was very powerful. And when that revelation comes, then you know what? You're not going to like someone or dislike someone. You just accept. And in that acceptance state, you will find, blissfulness. You're not going to hate, or it's nothing about liking as well. Because both the things are pairs of opposites. Then you don't have an equanimity of mind. My Guruji had written a very beautiful update this morning. And in that he said, it is not about learning the scriptures that matters the most. It is about, are you able to implement what you have learned? So how do you implement what you have learned is through going through these experiences. Because that experience will teach you how to apply this knowledge that you have learned. And it is very beautiful. Sometimes we think this process is so painful. Oh God, spirituality is a painful existence. No, on the contrary, it's the most beautiful existence. Because in that, what are you learning? You're learning the truth about life. What is your Guru actually doing to you? He's removing the material worldly imperfections and making you spiritually perfect. He's perfecting your spiritual knowledge and you evolve. That is the power of being in spiritual. And when you serve this divine master, when you understand, when you recognize a little revelation of his nature. You will feel so gratefulness. Like Sai Baba says in the Poti, you have to wear the garland of indebtedness to the Guru. Everything that is done for you, never forget even for a moment, because your mind is your biggest enemy. Remember, the day you forget, you're out of this, completely out of this world. And that world is the world of Maya. And then when Maya, entangles you, ensnares you in her clutches, there is no way you can get out. Please remember, the Guru is ever protecting you, and be very thankful for your life. Each one of us who has this Guru in our world, we need to be extremely grateful. And those who are seeking the grace of the Guru, keep seeking. It will come to you. The power of the divinity is that when the right time comes, you will get that grace. Those who have, they want to destroy that grace. They think they want something else. Please go, no. Samarth Ramdas Maharaj, there is a very beautiful story of this Brahmin who is going and seeking for a Guru where he can get a good food to eat. And he destroys the mantra, given by Samarth Ramdas Maharaj. And then what? He can never ever to eternity get back a human birth. He destroyed his own life in one stroke. That is what your mind can do. So always be careful what you think and what is your mind instigating you. You have to always be conscious and aware. Don't fall prey to what your mind is telling you. Never do that. That is when you have to hold unto the lotus feet of your Gurudev and seek his grace, because the Lord's Maya is very powerful. Never ever get entangled into that. The day you get into that, you're going to be given a very good lesson in your life, and you will not realize what hit you. You will be in that illusion and you can't see through the God. God will be right in front of you. You can't recognize him. This is the power of Maya, and don't ever challenge his universe and nature. Be very careful what you say, what you do. So coming back, Somavara Vrata Mahima, that is chapter 35. Siddhamuni continued the narrative of the Guru Charitra to Namdarak as under. Savitri's heart was overflowing with gratitude and devotion towards Gurunath, who had restored her husband's life. The husband looked quite hale and hearty, with no trace of his former disease at all. Savitri now prayed to Gurunath to give her mantropadesha, which would protect them, that is herself and her husband, against all the turmoils of life in this world, give them a safe passage to the life beyond and liberate them forever. Gurunath told her that for a woman, no mantra is needed. See, this is back in time, okay? This is not for Kali Yuga. This was back at that moment in time. It is only Pati Seva that is needed for a woman, and that this alone would safely ferry her across the ocean of samsara to the heavenly shores beyond. Okay, it's a very interesting thing. Pati Seva, which doesn't happen in today's day and age. See, at that time, the lotus feet of the divine Lord, that is her husband, had to be worshipped as God alone, because at that time, everybody were in the sattva, a little bit of the essence of sattva was quite high. And it's called the Sri Dharma. So she was doing exactly what was prescribed in our Vedas and Shastras. If you take Satyuga, the Rishi Munis had their Guru Patnis. But these Patnis were to save the Rishis so that they can all evolve on the path of spirituality. So everything was attaining spiritual weal alone. And here also Gurunath is telling the only dharma for her here is to do her Pati Seva. And when she does that, that itself will give her the safe passage to the heaven and beyond, heaven and beyond, which is she will be able to attain her own spiritual weal. But that point she said there's no need for mantropadesha. But in today's day and age, life is very different. We are in the age of Kali. And in Kali Yuga, there is no the lotus feet of the husband or wife, because everybody is equally living in tamasic guna. They are not the divine beings. So please, let us not misconstrue what is being explained here. This doesn't apply in today's day and age, because we don't have the purity that in those days Savitri was a chaste woman. Likewise, her husband, they will not look at in some other woman, they will not even have such bad thoughts. Today, people, live on Tinder. I don't know what this Tinder app is all about, because I'm not even interested in going there. To me, that is not my focus. But if you look at every other person, they're living on Tinder, left, right, straight, center. I believe you just change clothes like that. You're changing your boyfriends and girlfriends. And most important, you're going to worship the lotus feet of her wife and husband. That is the reality. But today's wife is never going to worship the lotus feet of her husband. On the contrary, she will make you, the husband, to worship the lotus feet of hers. That is the reality. This is Kali Yuga. So you have to be a slave to your wife. That is where we are arriving. But that doesn't talk about what Guru Nath is teaching here. This is called, how a husband and a wife should support each other and evolve spiritually. That is a very important thing. Both husband and wife should have that one understanding. See, you can be married. Nobody says you should not get married. If marriage is in your destiny, you can get married, but not for, your lusty desires. If that is your goal, then you can please get into the gutters. But what is it saying? Both husband and wife have to be spiritual. They have to support each other in evolving spiritually. But if one is coming in the way of your spiritual wheel, then that is it. Your life is ruined. Please remember. Then you will become like a grass human being like anybody else. I know someone associated with his body's, friend, that both husband and wife are very religious. They don't know spirituality, but both of them are very devoted of the divine being. At least that is what my Krishna Guruji was saying. How a husband and wife have to be. Both have to support each other in their spiritual wheel. Though they don't understand what spirituality is, at least they are worshipping God. They are doing pilgrimages, something to keep them associated with the goal to attain the divinity, to being divine. That is what is the life of us being a husband and wife. It is not just because to fulfill somebody's desires, carnal acts. That is not what you are getting married to. But today, the motivation is only for lust and greed. There is no other motivation. People get married because they want a better life, so that their husband has something, they want to go ahead. So many different reasons people have. But where is the real love? What is the purpose of you getting married? That is something you need to ask yourself. Why am I getting married? What is the reason for me to be in marriage? And most important, both for women and men, they all have to have this very good, meaningful life. But is that there? People get married and 2 months, 3 months or 1 year, they will divorce and then they'll get married to somebody. There is no understanding. There is no love existing between them. Forget about it. They all live in their la la land. See, the honeymoon period earlier was 90 days. Now it is only 90 hours maximum. That's all. People get married in 1 hour, they are divorcing. We are hearing such weird stories in today's day and age. Yes, it is all possible because this is Kali Yuga. If anything is possible in this world. It's a weird world and it's a very scary world, and we should never get into this world of Maya. Stay away from all that. That is why my Krishna Guruji teaches how you need to live like a kamal, the lotus flower, like Lord Shri Krishna, living in all that muck, yet being aloof and being very beautiful. What does that talk about? We have to live in this material world being detached and shine and just be attached to the divine Lord Almighty alone. That is the only way out to redeem yourself. You don't know what it means to get into that Maya. The moment you get into that, there is no getting out of it. The illusion is very strong and it is very dangerous. Never ever provoke the nature and the universe. Don't go fall for something where you don't know what is going to happen. So here it says, it is only Pati Seva that is needed for a woman, and that this alone would safely ferry her across the ocean of samsara to the heavenly shores beyond. For a woman, the mantra is not as efficacious as Pati Seva. Further, a mantra needs strict Nishta, secrecy, etc. This is a very interesting thing what Guru Nath is teaching you. Further, a mantra needs strict Nishta and secrecy. Nishta means you have to be very religiously chanting. You have to wake up at certain time. You have to sit in a place. You have to chant in a certain manner. And Nishta and secrecy. Secrecy. You know what? The nature of a woman is no words will stay with her. Oh, Guru Nath is very clear, nicely putting this. My Krishna Guruji will say, when you are told not to say something, you will go and blabber too much. And this is the nature of a woman here. It's so funny, but this is the truth. That is the sadhana we have to do. And that is why my Krishna Guruji says, your mantra is shut your mouth, keep silence, shut your mind and shut your mouth. Don't blabber too much. So secrecy is very important. You cannot go talk about it. You cannot go tell what mantra Guru has imparted to you. The moment you open your mouth and say something, then you'll destroy everything. That power will go away. So you have to, have that highest secrecy, and you have to follow a nishta, which was not possible at that time. I don't know if that was the case, but yes, Gurunath is saying, so we accept this as a gospel truth. A mantra cannot be given to anybody and everybody. See, most important, a mantra cannot be given to anyone and everyone. If you have received this Guru mantra, the Kana mantra, please be very grateful, because that is a boon. It's not so easy for everybody to get this. And when you have it, don't destroy that. Don't be lost in your petty material world. Chant his name, take his name, 24/7 Naam Japa, and you will become that Naam yourself. Your body will be purified, your mind will be purified, your heart, your entire inner being will be purified. And that purification has to be there. And what is the name you have to chant? Chant the divine name, Hari Bol. Why do they say Hari Bol? Naam Japa. Naam, that name is what you have to attain, and you will attain that. It requires some merit on the part of the recipient. Please remember, the only reason why you have received it is because of some merit in some life of yours. And that is the only reason why you have received, not otherwise. Nobody so easily gets this Kan mantra. And people think that it is their birthright, that they have got, and they have done some great deal and whatever. People have this very weird way of thinking. They don't understand. See, again, my Krishna Guruji will say, people are ignorant because they don't understand. It is their mind which is throwing lot of things, and he will always give me as an example. Isn't your mind the greatest example for all time? Because your mind can keep throwing all sorts of things, and that is called delusion and illusion. So stop giving into what your mind is telling, and please listen to the divine Lord. So you must have some merit done, and that is why you have received, and that is why Lord Shri Krishna and my Guruji will also say this. We are nobody to judge the deservability of some being. The only one who is the judge is him. The divine Lord Almighty. He knows what to give, what not to give, and he's the only one who has the authority to judge whether it is spiritual deserving or deservability, or even the material deservability as well. The only one who has authority to judge you is the divine Lord Almighty himself. Nobody else has the right to judge another person, and this is something you need to understand. Otherwise, it loses its potency and does not confer the due benefit. Exactly. Otherwise, it loses its potency. The mantra will lose its potency and does not confer the due benefit. And whatever the benefit you will get from it will not come to you. That was what happened in the case of the Sanjivani mantra of Shukracharya, the preceptor of the Asuras. Sri Narasimha Saraswati explained it further as follows. So he's explaining about this beautiful Sanjivani mantra which was given to Shukracharya. So let us understand what happened here. Once a war was raging between the Devas and the Asuras. Shukracharya alone knew the Sanjivani mantra, the chanting of which would revive the dead back to life instantly. Because of the power and protection of the Sanjivani mantra, the Asuras could remain invincible, and the Devas, as they had no recourse, the Asuras could remain invincible, and the Devas, as they had no recourse to and no protection of mantra, were being rooted in the battle. The Devas had to flee away, utterly defeated and battered. The Devas then went to the Kailash and narrated to Lord Shiva their pain and perilous condition, and prayed to him to rescue them from the devastating onslaught of the Asuras against them. Shiva sent Nandi to fetch Shukracharya. When the latter was brought, Shiva gulped him into his mouth. It sounds so funny, weird. How is this possible? When Shukracharya was brought to him, Lord Shivji just gulps him up. See, there are all the adhyatmic truth behind that. What does it mean? Only the Lord Shivji has the power to absolve all these things. See, the God can give you the boon, but if you misuse what has been granted to you, then that power also can be taken back. So you are going to lose that position and the power. But this is the truth which a human being doesn't understand. The power and the position is never given for misusing. The only reason why you've been given a power or a position or certain job, so that you can establish dharma and protect the well-being of everybody. We are here only to do good, not do something, not cause harm to anybody. So that is not our dharma. So Shiva gulped him into his mouth. Shukracharya stayed for some days in the stomach of Shiva, but one day managed to come out when Shiva was lost in Samadhi. He reached back to the kingdom of the Asuras safe, and the Asuras were again emboldened that their preceptor's full protection was restored to them. They became again a great menace and terror to the Devas. The Devas then hatched out a plan. The preceptor of the Devas, sage Brihaspati, had a son named Kacha. Kacha was sent to Shukracharya to be his disciple and to study under him. Shukracharya accepted him as a student because of his veneration for Brihaspati. Shukracharya's daughter Devyani caught a fascination and liking for Kacha. Once the Asuras had caught hold of Kacha secretly and killed him. At Devyani's pleadings, however, Shukracharya, by the power of a Sanjeevani mantra, revived him and brought him back to life. When the Asuras caught hold of Kacha secretly the second time, they did not want the body to be left after slaying him, because Shukracharya might again bring it back to life. Therefore, this time they burned the slain body to ashes, mixed the ashes in wine, which they surreptitiously made Shukracharya to drink. As Kacha did not return home in the night, Devyani expressed her anxiety to Shukracharya about the safety of Kacha. Shukracharya saw through his Divya Drishti that the ashes of Kacha were in his stomach, and this he told Devyani. He told her that this time he would not be able to bring him back to life. If he were to try to bring him back to life, as Kacha would have to come out of his, that is Shukracharya's stomach. He, Shukracharya himself, would be dying in the process. Therefore, he would not be able to save him this time. But Devyani pleaded if he would teach her the Sanjeevani mantra, and in the process of reviving Kacha, if he, Shukracharya, were to die, she would chant the mantra and revive him, that is Shukracharya's life back. At her persistent pleading, he taught her the mantra. As he was uttering the mantra, Kacha heard it from within the stomach of his guru and memorized it. Kacha was saved. Shukracharya also was revived back to life. Later, Devyani pleaded to Kacha that he should marry her, but Kacha pleaded that it would be a sacrilege to do so. They were like sister and brother to each other. First, she was his guru's daughter. Further, having emerged out from the vitals of Shukracharya by the result of the mantra, he also had become a child of Shukracharya. Furthermore, she having revived him back to life, she was like a mother to him. Therefore, he said the marriage was unthinkable between them. Saying thus, he left and went back to his father. The Sanjeevani mantra, however, had lost its potency for good, having been given to a woman who did not merit the mantra, and further having lost its secrecy because of being overheard by another, that is by Kacha, besides the one it was intended to, that is to Devyani at that time. Do you understand how important it is to keep it secret? When you have been instructed, don't say something, never ever say that. And especially to a woman. See, it's not about a woman and we have to laugh at it. Don't think like that. The reason is because a woman has been created like that. That is her inherent nature. And we need to recognize this. The reason why it is told that, okay, don't ever tell a secret to a woman because it is never going to stay in her stomach. She has to speak it out. I know my Guruji is enjoying this particular lesson, because he'll always say, a woman, you have to go tell a woman and she will exactly do opposite of what you tell her not to do. So, do you understand? And you know what? The mantra has to be secret. It cannot be even heard by somebody. Since Kacha was in Shukracharya's stomach, he was secretly heard what was being said. So then it loses the potency. The power of the mantra was completely lost. So what it has to be used for good purpose, it got destroyed. So you cannot use any power for any wrong things. This is always the case. You need to remember. As Sri Narasimha Saraswati dissuaded Savitri from being desirous of taking mantra, the woman pleaded she be taught some vrata which would be as beneficial as mantra. Sri Narasimha Saraswati told her about the Somavara Shiva vrata. He narrated another anecdote to illustrate the beneficial effects of this vrata. Somavara is a Monday, a vrata of at least in Kannada, it's a Sanskrit word. They say Somavara Shiva Vrata. So if you look at in Karnataka, especially Kannadigas, they worship the day for Shivji is Monday. So Monday is always very crowded in Shiva temples, and all the Kannadigas are the ardent devotees of this Somavara Vrata. They offer this puja to Lord Shivji, and especially they do this Monday. Vrata means it's a fasting as well, and there is a certain process what you follow through. Now we are already end of the hour, so I will begin this new story tomorrow. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, especially about a woman not keeping a secret. So why mantra was not being taught to her, but that is not the case. Today you're all empowered women. You're the Kalima yourself, so you can keep any mantra you want within yourself, and if you want to attain, and when you put your mind and you're focused, you will achieve anything that you want. So with that, it is possible in today's day and age. If your Gurudev grants you that mantra, please protect it dearer to your heart and keep it and evolve on your path of spirituality. So we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow at our usual timing, 8:30 a.m. in the morning. Thank you for joining Shri Guru Charitra Satsang. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha. Om Shri Gurudev Datta. Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Digambara Digambara Shripad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Gurunatha Natha Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha. Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.